right, let's try a little thought experiment. Let's say we have a time machine.
Okay, I'm with you.
We step inside, we punch in a date, let's say February 2026, so just 2 years into our future.
And if you're looking at the tech headlines in India at that point, the mood is, well, let's just say it's somber.
It is grim. The obituaries are out. And the biggest headline of the day, it's the funeral of a startup called Alle.
Ah, Alle, yes. The company that was supposed to be the golden child of social commerce. The Indian Pinduoduo meets Instagram shopping.
That's the one. And you look back at their launch documents from 2023, and on paper, this company had everything going for it. They were backed by Elevation Capital, which is top-tier VC money.
Absolutely.
They had a massive market. The next 200 million internet users in India, they raised $3 million, and they burned through every single cent.
Which brings us to why we're here today. We're not just going to read the obituary. We're going to perform a forensic autopsy. We need to really rip apart this business model to understand exactly why it died.
Because this wasn't an accident. It didn't just trip and fall.
No, this was a murder. Alle was killed by specific market forces that are honestly very visible right now in our present day.
But we're not stopping at the autopsy. Once we figure out the cause of death, we're going to play Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
We're going to use the technology that's available today, specifically the AI tools, to build a theoretical, better version of this company.
I love that. So fix the mistakes of the past to design the future.
Exactly.
But, before we can build the cure, we have to really understand the disease.
So let's start with the patient. Alle app. Launched around 2023. I was going through their old pitch decks, and I have to admit the vision was, it was undeniably compelling. They were targeting Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities in India.
Right, so we're talking about users outside of the big metros like Delhi or Mumbai. The whole thesis was based on something they called trust arbitrage.
Trust arbitrage. Okay, that sounds a little bit like VC jargon. Let's unpack that. What were they actually betting on?
Well, think about how commerce really works in smaller towns. It's not just transactional, it's relational. If you live in a Tier 3 city, you might not trust a faceless search bar on Amazon.
Right.
You trust your neighbor. You trust the shopkeeper you've known for 10 years. You trust what people around you are saying.
So Alle's goal was to digitize that word of mouth.
Precisely. Instead of this, sterile catalog of products on a white background, they give you a feed. It looked a lot like TikTok or Instagram, but purely for shopping. You had influencers, sure, but also just regular people showing off fashion, beauty products, home goods.
The idea being that seeing a real person with the product bridges the trust gap.
That was the idea. And the timing, in 2023, it felt perfect. UPI payments in India were hitting 10 billion transactions a month. Smartphone use was just skyrocketing into rural India.
And you can't ignore the China influence, right? Everyone in the VC world was obsessed with Pinduoduo.
Exactly. Pinduoduo exploded by basically gamifying shopping and using social networks to drive group buys. So Alle looked at that and said, we need to build that for India.
Okay, so they had the capital, they had the why now, they had a huge market of people ready to buy things. So what? What killed them? Was it just bad execution?
It's rarely just execution. It was, I think, a lethal combination of entering what you'd call a red ocean market.
Meaning the water was already full of sharks?
Full of sharks and blood, yeah. By the time Alle even launched, a company called Meesho had already, for all intents and purposes, won the market. Meesho had over 100 million users with a reseller model that was working perfectly for that exact demographic.
And then on the other side of the ring, you have the ultimate heavyweight, Meta.
Right, Instagram and WhatsApp. You have to remember, Meta had something like 500 million users in India collectively. And here's the kicker that I think Alle totally underestimated. Meta started integrating shopping features directly into the apps people were already using every day.
Which brings us to the math. Because when I looked at the unit economics in the notes, the customer acquisition cost versus the order value, I actually winced. It just looked unsustainable from day one.
It was painful. Alle was spending, somewhere between $15 and $25 just to acquire a single customer.
Okay, $25. And that's all the marketing spend, ads, influencer payouts?
Everything. Just to get one person to download the app and make one purchase.
So then what was that customer actually spending?
And that is the problem. The average order value, the AOV, was only hovering between $12 and $18.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I heard that right. They were spending up to $25 to get someone to spend maybe 15.
Exactly. And remember, that $15 isn't profit, that's just revenue. The margin on that might be, what, 20%? So they were losing a significant amount of money on every single first transaction.
Okay, but to be fair, isn't that the standard startup playbook? You burn cash to acquire users, you make it back over their lifetime, lose money on the first sale, make it back on the fifth.
That is the theory, yes. But that whole model relies completely on retention. You need that customer to come back and buy 4, 5, 6 times just to break even. Alle's retention was stuck at around 25%.
That's remarkably low. Why weren't people coming back?
I call it the Amazon trap. People would see a cool product on Alle, like a new blender or a sari. They'd watch the video, they'd get excited, and then what do you think they do?
They close the app, open up Amazon or Flipkart, and search for it to see if it's cheaper.
Exactly. Or they buy it there because they trust Amazon's return policy. They know if that blender shows up broken, Amazon will take care of it. They weren't so sure about Alle, so Alle was basically doing free marketing for the big guys.
So they were paying for the discovery, and Amazon was just capturing the sale.
Brutal, but accurate. And the final nail in the coffin in our 2026 timeline came in late 2025. Meta launched WhatsApp channels with fully integrated native shopping. And suddenly, every creator could sell directly to their audience on WhatsApp. They didn't need a third-party app like Alle at all.
It sounds like they brought a knife to a nuclear war. So, okay, before we get to our rebuild, I really want to crystallize the lessons here. If you're a founder listening to this, what are the big takeaways?
The first one, and this is maybe the most important, is that distribution is the moat.
Define moat for us in this context.
It's your defense. It's what protects your castle. In consumer social today, the whole idea of build a great product and they will come is dead. It's just dead. If you can't acquire users cheaper than incumbents like Meta, you will die. You need embedded distribution. You have to be where people already are.
So instead of trying to drag people to your lonely little island of an app, you set up shop on the mainland where they're already living.
Correct. You can't fight gravity. The second lesson is about vertical versus horizontal. Meesho won because they owned the messy stuff, the logistics, seller financing, returns. They went vertical.
Right.
Alle tried to be a neutral platform, just a horizontal layer. But in a low-trust market like India, you can't just be a matchmaker. You have to take on some of that operational risk to build credibility.
That's a great point. It's easy to build an app interface. It's incredibly hard to build a supply chain.
And the final one is this idea of atomic network effects. Look at Pinduoduo again. If I share a link with you on Pinduoduo, we both get a lower price. I have a direct financial incentive to annoy you with that link.
Right, whereas on Alle, if I shared something, maybe I got some likes or clout.
Which doesn't pay the bills. The value went to the platform, not directly to the user in a tangible way. It just wasn't enough to drive that viral growth.
Okay, so Alle is gone. It's 2026. Who's left standing in the wreckage?
It's interesting. The market has basically bifurcated. It's split into two clear models. On the lower end, for Tier 2 and 3, you have the reseller-led models, like Meesho. Low prices, high repeat rates, all driven by bargain hunting.
And on the other side, for the urban users.
That's the influencer-led model. It's all on Instagram and YouTube, dominating the urban millennial market. High gloss, high aspiration.
But I'm seeing another group in the notes that really shook things up. The quick commerce players. Blinkit, Zepto. Where do they fit in?
They're the ones who stole the impulse buy budget. I mean, they offer 10-minute delivery. Yeah. Social commerce is so often about discovery and impulse. Oh, that snack looks good.
But why would I order it from a social app that takes 4 days when Zepto can have it at my door in 10 minutes?
Exactly. So that impulse wedge is gone too. The conclusion is pretty stark. The standalone social commerce platform is a dead business model.
Okay. The patient is dead. Autopsy's complete. We know what killed it. High SAC, low retention. No distribution. Now, for the fun part, we're going to take the ashes of Alle and build something new, something that actually works in this 2026 landscape. You've sketched out a company called Bride GPT Commerce. Introduce us.
So this is a complete pivot. We are abandoning the idea of a visual feed-based app. No more scrolling videos, no influencers. For GPT is an AI-native, voice-first shopping assistant. And the most important part, it lives entirely inside WhatsApp.
No new app to download. So that solves the distribution problem right off the bat.
Right. We're meeting the user where they already spend, 6 hours a day? And the target is Hrat, that same non-metro Tier 23 user. But we're acknowledging a reality Alle ignored. Many of these users are just not comfortable typing in English or navigating all the complex filters on Amazon.
So walk me through it. How does it actually work? Let's say I'm a guy in a small town in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, so picture this. You open WhatsApp, you tap the little microphone button, and you just speak in Hindi, your natural dialect. You say something like, Mujhe 5,000 rupai mein acha mobile chahi, which just means, I need a good mobile under 5,000 rupees.
Simple, natural, no search keywords to figure out.
And the AI Harat GPT gets that voice note. Now, instead of sending back a list of blue links like Google, it acts like a concierge. It replies in Hindi, maybe even with its own voice note. It might say, I found 3 good options, but tell me, do you care more about battery life or a really good camera?
Just having a conversation, it's qualifying the lead.
It's negotiating, it's showing images, it's verifying authenticity. It turns shopping from a search task, which can be lonely and confusing, into a service task.
I love this. It solves that trust issue I had because it feels like you're talking to that knowledgeable shopkeeper we mentioned earlier. It's digital, but it feels relational.
That's it. It's concierge commerce.
Okay, let's geek out on the tech for a second, because AI is a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
How are we actually building this in a way that doesn't bankrupt us?
Great question. If we just wrapped ChatGPT or something, the costs would eat us alive, and it probably wouldn't get the nuances of Indian commerce. So we use a picks and shovels strategy with the modern open source stack.
Break that down for me.
Okay, first, the interface. WhatsApp Business API, that's 500 million users instantly. Second, the brain. We don't use a generic model. We use Llama 3.1 Meta's open source model, and we fine-tune it specifically on Indian e-commerce data, reviews, product descriptions, pricing.
Why Llama 3.1 specifically?
Control and cost. We can run it cheaper, and we can train it to understand that when someone in a Tier 3 city says durable, that means something very different than when a South Mumbai influencer says quality. It gets the cultural context.
Okay, so we have the brain. What about the ears? India have hundreds of dialects.
For that, we use the Whisper API for speech-to-text. It's incredibly good at handling Hinglish, that mix of Hindi and English and all the regional accents. And finally, for the voice output, we use 11 Labs. It generates really natural-sounding voice responses, so it doesn't sound like a robot.
So we're basically building a specialized layer on top of existing tools. But the million-dollar question, how do we make money? Albir and cash on inventory. Are we touching boxes?
Absolutely not. That is the trap we are avoiding. FarGPT is a software layer, not a retailer. We never touch a physical product. Our primary revenue, probably 60% of it, comes from affiliate commissions.
So how does that work?
When the AI recommends a phone and the user says, yes, buy it, we just send a link. The actual transaction happens on Amazon or Flipkart. We just earn an 8 to 12% commission for sending them the sale. 0 inventory risk. 0 return risk.
Smart. We're just the bridge. We monetize the intent.
Exactly. But we don't stop there. There's also a B2B SaaS play. Think about all those direct-to-consumer brands. We can white label our agent for them. They pay us a subscription to have FarGPT power their own WhatsApp customer support. That's another 25% of revenue.
And the notes also mentioned a user subscription? That feels a bit risky for this demographic.
It is, but it's for the power users. A premium tier, maybe 99 rupees a month, that gets you deal alerts, group buying options, bringing back that Pinduoduo idea, and priority support. It's a small slice, maybe 15%, but it's high margin.
The business model seems sound. High margin, low operational weight. But execution is everything. You can't just launch Amazon for voice on day one. What's the wedge? How do we start?
The wedge is critical. Startups die from indigestion, not starvation. So phase 1 is this. We focus on one category and one language. The category, mobile phones under 15,000 rupees. The language, Hindi.
Why that specific slice? Why not say fashion?
Fashion's too subjective. Does this look good on me is a really hard question for an AI. But a mobile phone, that's just specs. Yeah. Battery life, screen size, RAM, it's objective. Plus, it's a high-intent purchase. People research phones for weeks. They need advice.
And here's the part of the plan I found really clever. The Wizard of Oz technique.
Yes. This is how you build AI without having the AI at first. The founders, in this scenario, we manually handle the first 100, maybe the first 1,000 conversations.
So when the user sends a voice note, it's not Llama 3.1 answering. It's you sitting in a room with a laptop.
Basically. We're pretending to be the AI. We train the AI on our negotiation patterns. We see what questions people actually ask. We learn the objections. Then we use that data to fine-tune the model.
That's brilliant. You don't automate until you know what you're automating.
Exactly. And we build in specific trust features. For example, using GPT-4 Vision, a user could send a photo of a product in a shop and ask, is this fake? Or is this a good price? The AI analyzes the image and gives advice.
Or summarizing YouTube reviews.
Yes. In India, YouTube reviews are the gold standard for trust. Our AI can watch the top 5 reviews for a phone, summarize the pros and cons, and deliver it to the user in 10 seconds. We're just aggregating the trust that's already out there.
So once we nail mobile phones in Hindi, then we expand. We move to B2B SaaS for brands like Mama Earth or Boat.
Yeah.
We create this data flywheel where the more conversations we have, the smarter the model gets.
It's a compelling pivot. We've gone from all of this destination app trying to fight a war on all fronts to Farhat GPT, which is a lightweight, intelligent layer on top of the infrastructure that already exists.
All have failed because they tried to recreate the whole ecosystem. Hard GPT succeeds because it leverages the ecosystem. It accepts that Meta won distribution and Amazon won logistics. It just inserts itself as the intelligent guide in the middle.
That's the key. Don't fight the giants, ride them.
So if we zoom out, what's the really big takeaway here for everyone listening? We started with a failure from 2026. What does this tell us about the future of commerce in general?
I think the big takeaway is that social commerce 1.0 was about scrolling feeds. It was passive. It was, look at this pretty picture. The future is concierge commerce. It's active. It's about AI agents that negotiate, verify, and filter for you.
The interface of the future isn't a shopping cart, it's a chat window.
It's not about browsing anymore. It's about asking.
And that raises a really provocative final thought. Something for us all to chew on. If we're moving toward a world where AI agents handle our shopping, do brands even matter anymore?
That is the question of the decade, isn't it? I mean, think about it. If I tell my AI, get me the best detergent for sensitive skin at the best price per milliliter, the AI is going to make a mathematical decision.
It's just looking at ingredients and unit economics.
Right. It doesn't care about a catchy jingle. It doesn't care about a celebrity endorsement or a Super Bowl ad. It just cares about the data.
That's terrifying for marketers. If I'm a brand manager, I am sweating right now.
You should be, because if the AI controls the choice, then the brand isn't pitching to you, the human, anymore. They're pitching to the algorithm. And brand loyalty might just evaporate.
Which begs the final question.
Here.
If the AI controls the choice, who controls the AI? Because whoever tweaks that algorithm, whether it's us at ParrotGPT or Meta or Google, effectively decides what half of India buys.
And that is a thought that is going to keep me up tonight. From the ashes of Alle to the rise of the machine shoppers, it's a brave new world.
It certainly is. The companies that realize this shift, from scrolling to conversing, are the ones that will survive. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you in the next one.